Yo, this 80 Proof from The Circle, and we're here on the Better Days Show podcast. Y'all know what it is. Tune in, baby.
Yo, we got 80 proof on the Better Days Show podcast. What's
What
good,
up, what up,
man?
what up, what up, what up, man? Soul, legend. What's good, brother? What's good, big bro?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. So, yeah, man. 80, where are you from?
I'm originally from Sudan. I was raised in Paris and then eventually grew up in New York,
Where about
Queens,
in New York?
Jamaica, Queens.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, when did you first got into hip hop?
Probably in the early 90s, listening to, believe it or not, I started out listening to Two Life Crew.
Mm.
And then it went into like all the East Coast hardcore hip hop,
Two Life
the
Crew out of
Miami.
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but that's how it started for me. Then it became all the Wu Tang, Smith and Wesson, Black Moon, all the East Coast heavy stuff. When I was getting ready to move to New York
Oh, that's
in
what's up.
94, 95, Illmatic, all that.
You have this project that you did with various artists out of Sudan. You wanna
Yeah.
let the people know about that, man?
Right. So Sudan, the country code on the telephone for Sudan is 249.
Mm.
So some of the youth there had started calling Sudan 249. So I created this compilation called the 249 Experience, Volume
Okay.
1. And it's 17 different Sudanese artists,
Mm.
ranging from people that are just getting in the game, that are younger, to guys like my brother Boss, who are established, all on one album for Sudan. Everybody on it was from Sudan.
What made you to decide to do this project?
Because from the era of hip hop I'm from, we respected the art heavily,
Mm.
and I felt like this is a new art scene in Sudan, and it hasn't been tainted yet. It hasn't been poisoned by today's consumerism and all that. So I was like, I want to tap into some of these young artists that are killing it, that I think would have been dope '90s artists,
Hmm.
and I want to get them like a chance. Let's all work together to show the talent that Sudan has to the whole world before it gets out of hand and everybody starts going left field with the music.
And 80, tell the people about the circle. What is the circle?
So the circle, out of all those artists that I worked with, there was a group of different individuals I gravitated to more. I
Mm.
felt like the artists in the circle, which are AKA Keys, Ease the Bully,
Hmm.
G. Salee, Nadine, and myself, 80 Proof. So the artists in that group are artists that I looked at and I put up to standards of the '90s artists, because I feel like standards had dropped in hip hop, and these guys had that same passion and fire and respect for the art as those artists had back then. So I wanted to me, it was like kind of like, for those that don't know my my relationship with you, what I'm doing with them is how you helped me early on with, till this day, probably my best song, Queens, and you were giving me pointers in this game and how to think. So that's kind of what I want to do with them, because I felt like there's a lot of artists that don't get that chance or that mentorship, and I'm a fan. So because I'm a fan, I want to see them really make it. So I just put everything I got into it, and just I ain't look back, just grinded.
Talking about Queens, was that your first project that you ever released?
Yep, that was the first thing I ever released officially. Though till this day, until last week when we put out a video, that was the first and only video I've had all these years, was Queens. Bro, you're amazing. You gave me a lot of pointers when creating that song. It changed how I even make music.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. We were just grinding at the time. And yeah, talking about grind, yeah, 80 proof. Your brother Boss is with Dreamville. That's your
Correct.
younger brother, right?
Yeah, that's the youngest one.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ebe, who's next youngest, he's actually the president of Dreamville.
Mm.
So basically, like you know, he signed my brother's son, my younger brother's son, my younger brother.
To your peoples out there, Ebe is J. Cole's manager, right?
Yeah,
All
and
right.
president of Dreamville. Yep.
Okay. And your other brother is DJ MoMA from
Yeah.
Everyday People,
Correct.
party.
Yeah.
Man, so I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say. It's like the whole family is up in the game. So how did that all about, man? Like, yeah, I used to, I don't know, up in the
Honestly,
crib just recording each other and trying to figure it out.
since we were kids, my uncle was like a famous musician in Sudan, and he
Oh,
plays
okay.
the lute. So there were always like artists and family friends that were
What's your uncle's
celebrities.
name?
Bashir Abbas.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. My grandfather's name is Abbas, and that's who Abbas was named after, and that's my uncle Bashir Abbas. So, but yeah, in the house, it started with DJ Moma. Before being a DJ, was a rapper,
Right.
and so he was spitting bars, and that was inspiring to me. I got into rapping, and then Ebe met Cole in college and became his manager.
Hmm.
Boss just accidentally discovered rap. He was just so good at it, and he was just playing around one night, freestyle, bullshitting, and then they were like, "Yo, this sounds good," and sure enough, it sounded real good.
Always, MCing, right?
Oh yeah, man. Before I could rap, before I could speak English, I used to sing like Bob Marley songs, like imitate Bob Marley as a little kid and
Hmm.
pretend I was singing his lyrics. I didn't even understand the words till I got older. But then after that, yeah, I just got into rapping and then started doing you know how the 90s was. It was ciphers, it was battles, it was
Hmm.
little hole in the wall spots, open mics, all that. I used to do a whole bunch of that, and then kind of laid low for a while till I found like the youth that I truly appreciate,
Hmm.
and kind of refocused it on that.
At a time, I would see you on tour, on the Dreamville tour. What was your position on the tour?
So on depending on the artist, I have different positions. So on J Cole's tour, I was like managing one of the buses that had some of the other acts, some of the opener acts, and then I would be like apprentice under like the tour manager. I would just shadow him and help out any way I could and try to learn. On Boss's tour, it was different. On Boss's tour, um, you have like different types of budgets, so it's like all hands on deck. So I was just doing whatever we could do, merch, lifting stuff, getting dirty in the cold weather in
Mm.
February in Wisconsin, whatever had to be done. So like, and then yeah, so on different tours, I'll have different things that I'm doing.
Do you have like any solo project that that you had out before or up and coming solo
Yeah,
project?
so in the past, I had released. It's gonna be 4 years this November. I had released Deconstructing 80,
Mm.
and this November we're releasing an album with the Circle.
Hmm.
We actually haven't even announced that yet, so you're like the first person we're really announcing this to. We're gonna release an album mid-November,
Hmm.
God willing, and then after that, we also have plans for the individual members to do their own solos. So I'm gonna have a solo EP coming
Hmm.
shortly after that. Some of the other artists gonna have solo EPs. Some will have like, and then Ease the Bully and YK, who is one of the original members of the Circle. They just dropped an EP together called Home Run Two. It just
Okay.
came out. So we've been outside of our own like collective project. It's just like Wu Tang. You know what I mean? Like, remember how Wu would have Enter the 36 Chambers, but then Raekwon would have his own album, Method Man would have his own album,
Right.
RZA would do something with Grave Diggers. You know, like, that's kind of how we're moving.
For a kid, you know, coming up in the game, what advice would you give them?
I would say that everybody that became great did something that others told them they can't do.
Mm.
So don't believe everybody when they tell you you can't do something. It's just because they haven't figured it out.
Mm.
Doesn't mean you won't figure it out. A lot of labels don't know nothing. A lot of labels are ignorant to how things work. So you don't even really need to, like, you could, I would say, learn from people's mistakes more than their success stories. You know, learn from why certain people didn't blow up the way they should have blown up. What happened? What got in their way? That's more important than how did someone make it. Because somebody else may make it off of the strength of something you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a singer and she's sexy as hell, and boom, that might give her an advantage you don't have. So it may not help you to just study her success. You may want to figure out the failures of others so you avoid those, and then naturally you'll be more likely to succeed.
Talk to the people about the circle video, like the concept behind that video. You know,
Yeah,
I have it right now on the screen, but you know,
yeah,
let
yeah.
the people know.
So the video is for a song called "Almost Home."
Mm.
It was all entirely shot on an iPhone 11.
Wow.
The whole thing by Nadine El Ruby. She shot it, directed it, edited. The concept was pretty much about us being like stuck where we are. In this case, Birmingham, UK, or sometimes for me, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And but we're paralleling it to Sudan. So like whether you're here or in Sudan, you're still gonna feel like you're stuck. It's not enough to just go elsewhere. It's like the grass is always green on the other side. So we wanted to kind of represent that struggle is the same whether it was here or there. The concept of the struggle is the same.
And are you are you located in the UK now, or you just back and
Well,
forth?
I came here for a rap camp in July. I got a place for a couple months. Got the whole circle and a couple of other friends in the house. We made a whole lot of music,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm about to head to Sudan beginning of November. So in 2 weeks, I'm gonna go to Sudan, set up some events, and just stay out there for like 4 or 5 months. I'm not in a rush to get back to the States.
Okay.
No rush.
Right, no
You're the
doubt.
first. My bad. You're the first person that you had told me this a long time ago. You had said to me, "You're like, yo, 80. The international scene is where it's at for you." He's like, connect the dots. I remember you always used to tell me, connect
Mm.
the dots. And you used to
Yep.
tell me the international scene is where it's at for you. And at the time, I was like, probably like young and ego. And it's like, I'm going to run New York like everybody else that's in New York. And it's,
Right.
it's such a waste of time. That's why I think Boss is so successful because he never put himself in a box where like, oh, New York, I gotta be king of New York or I gotta
Mm-hmm.
be this and that. He's just an artist. He just made music, and that none of that got in the way. So yeah, I think I'm a little wiser now. I got a few more gray hairs.
80. How can the people find you on social media?
Right. So on IG, on Twitter, on all that, it's my actual artist name, AIDYPROOF at
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Like that's the handle, 80 proof.
Mm-hmm.
And then the circle is also on IG, but because you can't spell it with an exclamation mark on
Okay.
those, it's CIRXLE, the circle. But yeah, so we're on the albums, the music that we got out is on all platform. You can find us all across social media, posting some interesting things every now and then, some lyric breakdowns, some freestyles.
Anything else you want to let the people know about 80 proof?
Yeah. I believe in paying credit where credit is due and showing respect and honoring tradition. And one of the people that helped me very, very early in this game, and it's not like anybody's really checking for me that crazy right now, but before anybody did, it was you, Matt Soul. You put me onto a lot of game. You said like few words to me here and there that may have just been like regular conversation for you, but for me they stuck with me so much so that those people on the circle, they never met you, but they got your message through me. Some of the things you were saying to me, I translated that to them now. So there's a few brothers like yourself out there, that I think had these indirect impacts on the people around me. You know, guys like you, like DJ MoMA, like there's a few homies that I learned from growing up,
Mhm.
and I want to, I'd like for that to be known. Almost home, video out now. Songs on all platforms by the Circle. Almost home. Yeah, that's it.
Yep, that's
Oh,
what's.
and Home Run 2 by Ease the Bully and YK. The EP is on all platforms right now. It's a banger. Um, as well as for Home Run 2, type in YK, Ease the Bully,
Mhm.
and uh, Home Run 2, and that'll come up. It's on all platforms.
Thanks a lot. You know what I'm saying, for coming on the show. I appreciate it,
Hey, man,
man.
thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, I'm a. You know, this was a good short one. You know
All
what I'm
right, my
saying?
brother.
All
For
right, man.
sure.
All right, be
Peace,
safe out
bro.
there, man.
Love, bro.
Respect.
Peace.